What up, players? I got my soundtrack going here in the background. Is it 9? Oh, it is 9. I wanted to make sure I was on time. Got my book ready. Got my day in history. Got George Ezra rocking in the background here. Hope everybody's doing good. We got some much needed rain. I've already spilled some seltzer on me. That's great. Got some much needed rain this weekend. I guess it's going to be kind of a rainy week. The farm I work on, Barbers. This is not a commercial. For Barbers, been busy, but boy, we the owners want some rain. Been pretty dry spring. I remember the first. There's some more seltzer. The first summer I worked on the farm, they were freaking out because in the month of May it rained once, May 31st on the farm. It literally rained in Middleburg, but it never rained. The farm is a little south of Middleburg. It never actually rained on the farm. So hopefully this will get the farm a good soak. And I guess tomorrow and Tuesday, pretty good soaking thunderstorms. I just planted some grass seed and it looks like it took. So it's a good thing. Getting some rain is a good thing. But anyway, here we are, ready to read, powering through book 2 of the I Am Number 4 series, The Power of 6. So the other night, Adelina and Marina were up in the Marina of the Sea. They were up in the Belfry Tower. Are you going to read with us tonight, or are you going to just be a pain? And John, Sam, and Six went back to paradise, fought some Mogs, found that little cave. Not cave. Shelter, bunker. That's probably the best word for it. And they found some big 8-foot skeleton. And that's where we left off. Oh, and the Mogs, as they call them, took John's chest. Okay. So, and they were and if I remember, they were chasing after the Mogs. Oh, that's right. They were up in the belt tower, and then somebody appeared at the bottom of the steps. That's right, Marina and Adelina. Oh, and they know now there's a connection. So after the door at the bottom of the tower creaks open, I hear footsteps. I hear echoed breathing. Whoever. Can we read, please? Whoever it is, it'll be impossible to hide a drugged Adelina, a cat, and a chest stuffed with alien weapons and artifacts. I slowly set the branch back into the chest and close the lid. Legacy creeps to the edge of the belfry tower, then sits and stares down into the darkness. We're all silent, but then Adelina rolls out a long, drowning snore. The footsteps in the circular stairway speed up, and I give Adelina a few shakes and wake her up. She falls onto her side. What do? I mouth to Legacy. The cap jumps on top of the chest and then jumps back off again, only to purr around my feet. It isn't an answer, but it does give me an idea. I lean down and I set Legacy on top of the chest and then scramble up into one of the 2 windows. Where cool air, penetrates my pajamas and instantly causes my teeth to chatter. The footsteps are getting closer, closer. With my mind, I raise the chest high in the air, and Legacy's claws scrape down the lid for a safe footing. I have to duck as I float the chest up over me and out the window. Immediately after I set the chest quietly on the frosty lawn 10 stories below, Legacy jumps off and runs into the darkness. I then float Adelina up and over me, her nightgown brushing the top of my head, and carefully I set her down next to the chest. The footsteps are loud now. I swing my legs over the edge of the window, using whatever concentration I can still muster. I'm able to levitate myself only a few centimeters above the cold stone. I push out into the swirling wind, and before I lower myself away from the tower, I see the mustached Mogadorian from the cafe around the last turn of the stairway and stomp into the belfry. My concentration buckles and then snaps into a million little pieces. I go into a wild free fall until the last moment when I press my hands in front of my chest and set my mind on floating like a feather. My right knee lands a hair from Adelina's shivering body. I panic. I either have to try to get the chest and Adelina down into the village for hiding, but this in the middle of the night, and we are in our night clothes, and I can only see a few lonely windows lit in town. Or I have to quickly find a place to hide us within the orphanage. It will take the Magadorian, less time to descend the tower than it did for him to race up it. But he still has a long hallway to travel and another flight of stairs to run down to make it to the first floor. I stick my head through the double doors, and once I see the coast is clear, I drape Adelina over the chest and I float them down into the nave. My strength is waning immensely, but I am somehow able to summon just enough power to get the chest, Adelina, and me tucked up away from the farthest recess of the drafty, cold, damp nook where the chest had originally been hidden. I am beginning to think I let the Magadorian write to me by opening the chest. Perhaps the red pulse of the crystal I dropped is some kind of transmitter. Adelina will know what it is, what to do. To combat the fear that an evil alien race is coming directly for me, to somehow apologize to Adelina for drugging her, and to gather a little warmth, I rest my hand on Adelina's chest and wrap my arms around her waist. Hours later, I hear Adelina grunt and shuffle her legs underneath mine. Adelina, I whisper, are you awake? Who is that, Marina? I whisper, Adelina, you have to be really, really quiet. Why, she whispers. And where are we? We're in the nave where you hid the chest. But please listen to me. They're here. The Magadorians came for me. They came for me last night after I opened the chest, and I had to hide us. How did you open the chest by yourself? It doesn't work that way. You told me how to do it. You were sleep talking. I lie. I could tell her that I drugged her, but I'm not ready for that argument. Her confusion is evident in her voice. I don't remember. I remember getting out of bed, and then I guess that's about it. You opened the chest. What was inside? A lot of things, Adelina, so much. There are these stones and jewels, and one of them lit up in my hand and started flashing. I think that's why the Magadorian showed up. What Magadorian? What happened? Adelina tries to sit up, but I stop her before she hits her head on the low ceiling. I saw a man in a cafe a few days ago who had a book about Pittacus. He kept staring at me. He had this hat on and a big mustache, and I could just tell he was from Magador. And then last night, after I opened the chest in the North Belfry, he showed up. How did we escape? I used my telekinesis to float us out of the window and into the yard. Then I used it to get us up here. We have to get out of here, she whispers. We have to leave Santa Teresa immediately. My excitement is immediate. I hug her in the dark, and to my surprise, she hugs me back. Adelina crawls to the lip of the nook, and I follow her with the chest hovering behind me. Then, when the nave appears empty, Adelina asks me to lower her to the floor. Then I carefully drop the chest over the lip and set it silently next to Adelena's bare feet. I'm about to levitate down when Sister Dora appears at the back of the nave and marches towards Adelena. Where have you been? She barks. You left your post all night. How could you do such a thing? And what is that luggage doing here? I had to get some fresh air, Sister Dora, Adelena says. I'm sorry I left my post. I can see Sister Dora's eyes narrow. Where's Marina? What? I had 4 girls wake me up in the middle of the night saying that Marina snuck out last night and that you left with her. Oh. Adelena starts to speak, but Ella suddenly appears behind Sister Dora and tugs her dress. Sister Dora, I just saw Marina. She lies. Where? In the bedroom, sleeping. Sister Dora bends down and snatches Ella by the arm, and the terrified look on Ella's face causes something to shift inside me. You're a little liar. I just came from the sleeping quarters, and no one was there. You're making up excuses for her. Sister Dora, that's enough, Adelena says. But Sister Dora begins dragging Ella away so forcefully that her feet hardly touch the ground. We're going up to the office, and you are going to learn. You don't lie here. Tears stream down Ella's cheeks. From the nook's opening, I stare at Sister Dora's hand and pry her fingers away from Ella's bicep. Sister Dora yells in pain and then peers down at Ella with surprise and confusion. She grabs Ella again. Adelena jogs over to them, and before I can send Sister Dora all the way down the main aisle on her back, Adelena grabs her wrist. Sister Dora rips her arms away. My heart jumps into my throat with Adelena's newfound alliance to me and my friend. Don't you ever touch her again, Sister Dora challenges her. You don't even belong here, Adelena, and neither does that juvenile demon you brought with you. Adelena smiles carefully. You're right, Sister Dora. Perhaps Marina and I don't belong here, and perhaps we will leave this very morning. But would you please be so kind as to let go of Ella first? Her voice, while cordial and patient, contains a hint of venom. How dare you, Sister Dora scoffs. Why, you're no more than an orphan yourself. We took you in when no one else wanted you. We're all the same in the Lord's eyes. Surely you must acknowledge that. Sister Dora moves to take another step, but Adelena grabs her arm. The two women stare into each other's eyes. I will be talking about this with Sister Lucia. You will be thrown out of here so fast you have no choice but to pray for forgiveness. I already said I'd be leaving this morning, and I will always have the chance to pray for forgiveness. Adelena reaches her hand out to Ella, and she takes it. Sister Dora hesitates before reluctantly letting go of Ella's arm. I'll not pray that Marina forgives me for being such a terrible guardian. But I'll also pray that God forgives you for forgetting your purpose here. They continue to stare into each other's eyes for a few more seconds before Sister Dora pivots and huffs out of the nave. Once she's out of sight and Ella has her back to me, I float to the ground. Hi, Ella, I say. Marina, she lets go of Adelena's hand and runs and hugs me. Where were you? Are you getting up? Huh? Adelena and I had to talk alone, I say, pulling away from her. I look at Adelena. We had to talk about our future. Adelena squints, then looks down at her dirty nightgown and becomes embarrassed. Marina, go back and pack your things and put the chest somewhere safe. We're leaving here very soon. When Adelena walks away, Ella grabs my hand and squeezes it. The bad men were here last night. I know. I saw bad men. I'm sorry. That's why we're leaving. As soon as I say I know it, I will ask Adelena if we can take Ella with us. I saw all 3 of them, Ella whispers. I gasp. There's 3 of them? They were at the window last night, looking at your bed. A shiver runs up my spine. I float the chest back up into the nook, and I run to the sleeping quarters, dodging huddles of girls in the hallway, whispering to each other about something that happened in the village. They were right there, she says, pointing at the window. 3 of them. You're sure? She nods her head. Yes, and they saw me at the window watching them. Then they ran away. What did they look like, I ask. They were tall and they had really long hair. and their jackets were almost to their shoes, she says. With mustaches, right? They had mustaches. I don't think so. I don't remember mustaches, she says. I'm confused, but I know I don't have much time before Adelina shows up with a bag of the belongings she collected over the past 11 years. I'm about to race into the shower when Annalie, another girl, stops me in my tracks. School's canceled today. That girl, Miranda Marquez, was found strangled inside the school this morning. I sit down at my bed, shocked. Miranda Marquez is a dark-haired girl who lives in the village, sits behind me in Spanish history class. Our teacher, Maestra Munoz, often confuses us for each other because Miranda is skinny and tall like me, and her hair in the same length as mine. It takes me a second to realize that whoever killed Miranda might have mistaken her for me. Someone might have tried to kill me last night. That is bad, I whisper. Annalie says, plus, I heard one of the sisters say that some villagers saw people flying through the air last night. And now there are all these news vans out there doing a report on it. This is all happening too fast. The Magadorians have found me. They found my cave. I was being reckless with my legacies, and witnesses saw me and Adelina leave the Belfry Tower. A girl from my school might be dead because of me. Adelina and I are leaving the orphanage in the middle of winter without a place to stay. I take the fastest hot shower of my life, and I wait for Adelina. Bam! Chapter 22, done. It's heating up. It is heating up. Holy moly. Looks like we're back in Ohio for this next one. Let me cool off my seltzer here. Whoops. All right. Chapter 23. We're not going to Sarah, Sam says, following me to the edge of the forest. We got this tablet thing, possibly the transmitter we were after, and we're going back to help Six. I step towards him. Six can handle herself. I'm right here, and Sarah's right there. Oh, that's right. When we left off, they were right near Sarah's house. I love her, Sam, and I'm going to see her. I don't care what you say. Sam backs down. We're doing great on time. I keep walking towards Sarah's house, and Sam says, do you really love her, though, John? Or are you in love with Six? Which one? I twist around and I shine my palm in his face. You think I don't love Sarah? Hey, come on. Sorry, I mutter, lowering my palm. He rubs his eyes. It's a valid question, man. I see you and Six flirting all the time. And you do it right in front of me. You know I like her, and you don't even care. And on top of it, you already have the hottest girlfriend in Ohio. I do care, I whisper. You care about what? I care that you like Six, Sam, but you're right. I like her too. I wish I didn't, but I do. It's stupid and cruel to you, but I can't stop thinking about her. She's cool, and she's beautiful, and she's Lorik, which is like extra cool. But I love Sarah, and that's why I have to see her. Sam grabs my elbow. You can't, man. We have to go back and help Six. Think about it. If they were waiting for us at my place, even more of them are waiting for us at Sarah's. I gently pull my elbow away from his grip. You got to see your mom, right? You saw her in the backyard. Yeah, he sighs. His eyes find his shoes. You got to see your mom. I get to see Sarah. That doesn't make much sense as you think it does. We've got the transmitter, remember? This is why we're in paradise. This is the only reason. Sam hands me the tablet, and I stare at the blank screen. I try every inch of it. I try telekinesis. I hold it to my forehead. The tablet remains off. Let me try, Sam says. As he fumbles with the tablet, I tell him about the ladder, the huge skeleton with the pendant, and the desk and the wall coverings and the paper. Six grabbed a handful of the papers, but it's not like we can read them, I say. So my dad had a secret underground lair, Sam smiles for the first time in hours, handing the tablet back. He was so cool. I'd really like to look at the paper Six took. Absolutely, I say, right after I see Sarah. Sam opens his arms in astonishment. What can I do to change your mind? Just tell me. Nothing. There's nothing that you can do to stop me. The last time I was at Sarah's house, it was Thanksgiving Day. I remember walking up the driveway and seeing Sarah away from the front window. Hey, handsome, she said when she opened the door, and I turned around to look over my shoulder to pretend if she meant someone else. Her house looks completely different at 2 a.m, with every window dark, with the garage doors closed. The house looks cold and empty, uninviting. Sam and I are on our bellies in the shadow of the house on the corner, and I don't know how I'm going to talk to her. I pull the prepaid cell phone I have turned off for days out of my jeans. I could text her until she wakes up. That's actually a pretty good idea. Just do this already so we can get out of here. I swear. 6 is going to kill us, or worse. Maybe she's about to get killed by a swarm of Mogs, and we're lying here in the grass about to go through a scene from Romeo and Juliet. I power up the phone and type, I promised I'd come back. You up? We count to 30 after I send it. Then I type, I love you, I'm here. Maybe she thinks you're pranking her. Sam whispers after we wait another 30 seconds. Say something only you can know. Bernie Kosar misses you too. Her window lights up. Then my phone buzzes with a text. Is it really you? You're in paradise? I pull up a handful of grass. I'm so excited. Chill out, Sam whispers. I can't help it. I respond. I'm outside. Meet me at the playground in 5. My phone buzzes immediately. I'll be there. Smiley face. Sam and I are hiding behind a dumpster at the end of the street when Sarah takes her first steps onto the concrete playground. From the moment I see her, I'm breathless, flooded with emotion. She's 20 yards away, wearing dark jeans and a black fleece jacket. A white winter hat is pulled over her head, but I can still see her long blonde hair. And it brushes over her shoulders in the slight wind. Her flawless complexion glows in the lone playground bulb. I feel instantly self-conscious about being covered in dirt and Mog ash. I take a step away from the dumpster, but Sam grabs my wrists and holds me back. John, I know this is going to be really hard, he says, but we have to be back in those woods in 10 minutes. I'm serious. 6 is counting on us. I'll do my best, I say, not even thinking of the repercussions at this point. Sarah is right there, and I'm so close I can practically smell her shampoo. I watch Sarah turn her head back and forth looking for me. Finally, she sits down on a swing and twists herself. The ropes above her become taut. Sarah starts to spin slowly. I shuffle around the perimeter of the playground, pausing behind trees, watching her. She looks so beautiful, so perfect. I wait until she's facing the other direction before stepping out of the shadows. And when she twists around, there I am. John? The toes of her sneakers scrape on the concrete to stop her from twisting. Hey, beautiful, I say. I can feel my smile reaching from ear to ear. Sarah covers her mouth and nose with her hands. I walk towards her and she tries to get off the swing, but its ropes are too taut for her to escape. I jump forward and I catch the swing's ropes in my hands. I twist her towards me and raise my arms, lifting her and the seat so her face lines up with mine. I lean in and I kiss her. In that instant, our lips meet. It's as if I never left paradise. Sarah, I say in her ear, I've missed you so, so much. I can't believe you're here. This can't be real. I kiss her again, and I don't stop while I twist us both around and around until the ropes above her separate. Sarah pushes off from the seat and lands in my arms. I kiss her cheeks and her neck, and she runs her hands over my head, gripping my short hair between her fingers. I set her down, and she says, somebody got a haircut. Yeah, I got my whole tough guy on the run look. What do you think? You into it? I am, she says, pressing her palms onto my chest. But you could be bald for all I care. I take a step back to cement this image of Sarah. I note the brightness of the stars behind her and the tilt of her winter hat. Her nose and cheeks are red from the cold. And as she bites her lower lip and stares at me, a small cloud of breath floats from her mouth. I thought about you every single day, Sarah Hart. I promise I thought about you twice as much. I lower my head until our foreheads touch. And we stay this way, wearing ridiculous grins until I ask, how are you? What are things like for you around here? Are you okay right now? Better now. It's so hard being away from you, I say, kissing her cold fingers. I'm constantly thinking about what it feels like to touch you and hear your voice. I've come close to calling you every single night. Sarah cups my chin and runs her thumbs over my lips. I've sat in my dad's car so many times just wondering where you are. All I needed to know was which direction, and I would have started to drive. I'm right here. I'm right in front of you, I whisper. She drops her hands. I want to come with you, John. I don't care. I can't go on like this. It's way too dangerous. We just finished battling 50 Mogs over at Sam's place. That's what life is like with me right now. I can't put you in the middle of all this. Her shoulders shake, and tears dot the corner of her eyes. I can't stay here, John. Not with you out there, and me not knowing if you're dead or alive. Look at me, Sarah, I say, and she raises her head. There's no way I'm going to die. Knowing that you are here waiting for me. It's like a force field. We're going to be together soon. Her lip quivers. It's so hard. Everything is awful right now, John. Everything's awful. What do you mean? People are jerks. Amen to that. Everyone's saying hateful things about you. They say a lot of things about me, too. Like what? That you're a terrorist and a murderer and you hate the United States. Guys at school call you names like Bomb Smith. My parents say you're dangerous and I'm never supposed to talk to you again no matter what. And as an added bonus, there's a reward on your head. So people are always talking about shooting you. Yikes. She puts her head down. I can't believe you have to deal with all this, Sarah, I say. At least you know the truth. I've lost almost every friend I had. Plus, I'm at a new school where everybody just thinks I'm this weirdo. I'm devastated. Sarah was the most popular, most beautiful, most liked girl in Paradise High School. Now she's an outcast. Things won't always be this way, I whisper. She can't hold back and the tears any longer. I love you so much, John, but I can't imagine how we're going to get out of this mess. Maybe you should turn yourself in. I'm not turning myself in, Sarah. I just can't. We'll get out of it. Of course we will. My one and only love, Sarah. I promise if you wait for me, things will get better. But the tears don't stop. How long do I wait, though? And what happens when things do get better? Will you go back to Lorien? I don't know, I say. Paradise is the only place I want to be right now. And you're the only person I want to be with in the future. But if we're able somehow to defeat the Magadorians, then yes, I have to go back to Lorien. But I don't know when that will be. Sarah's phone buzzes in her pocket and she pulls it halfway out. Who's texting you so late? I ask. Just Emily. Maybe you should just turn yourself in and tell them you're not a terrorist. I don't want to lose you over and over, John. Listen to me, Sarah. I can't turn myself in. I can't sit in a police station and try to explain how an entire school was destroyed, how 5 people were killed. How am I supposed to explain Henry? Those documents they found in our house. I can't get arrested. I mean, Six would absolutely kill me right now if she knew I was here talking to you. Sarah sniffs and wipes her tears away with the backs of her hand. Why would Six kill you if she knew you were here? Because she needs me right now, and it's dangerous for me to be here. She needs you. She does. I need you, John. I need you here to tell me everything is going to be okay, that everything is going to be okay, that all this is worth it. Sarah walks slowly over to the bench, marked with initials. I sit down next to her, and I lean my shoulder onto hers. We're out of the light, and I can see her face, and I can't see her face very well. I don't know where it comes from, but Sarah leans away from me and says, Six is very pretty. She is, I agree. I shouldn't have, but it just fell out of my mouth. Not as pretty as you, though. You're the prettiest girl I know. The prettiest girl I've ever seen. but you don't have to stay away from 6 like you have to with me. When we go on walks, we have to be invisible, Sarah. It's not like we can just hold hands and walk down the street. We have to hide from the entire world. I'm hiding just as much when I'm with her as I am with you. Sarah shoots off the bench and turns around. You go on walks with her? Do you hold her hand when 2 of you walk down the street? I stand up and I approach her with my arms out, the sleeves of my coat still caked with dirt. We have to. It's the only way I can be invisible. Have you kissed her? What? I say. Answer me. There's something new in her voice. It's a mixture of jealousy and loneliness, and enough anger to give each word a kick. I shake my head. Sarah, I love you. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, nothing's happened. A tsunami of discomfort crashes into me, and I rifle through my vocabulary to piece together the right words. She's furious. She's furious. It's a simple question, John. Have you kissed her? I haven't kissed 6, Sarah. We haven't kissed. I love you, I say, and then I cringe at the acidity of the words, the sentence sounding far worse than I thought it would. I see. Why was that question so hard for you to answer, John? My life just keeps getting better and better. Does she like you? It doesn't matter, Sarah. I love you. So 6 doesn't matter. No other girls matter. I feel like such an idiot, she says, crossing her arms. Stop, please, Sarah. You're misinterpreting everything here. Am I, John? She asks, turning her head and staring fiercely at me with tears in her eyes. I've gone through so much for you. I reach out and I try taking Sarah's hand, but she snatches it away the instant our fingers touch. Don't, she says, a hard edge in her voice. But she doesn't make a move to check it. Oh, we're doing fine on time. I want to be with you, Sarah, I say. Nothing I say right now seems to come out right. All I can really say is that I've spent weeks missing you terribly, and there hasn't been a single day that I didn't think about calling you or writing a letter. I feel wobbly. I can tell I'm losing her. I love you. Don't doubt that for a second. I love you too, she cries. Oh, Stella. Oh. I close my eyes and I breathe in the cool air. A bad feeling rushes over me, a prickly feeling that starts in my throat and claws its way into my shoes. When I open my eyes, Sarah has taken several steps away from me. There's a noise to my left, and I whip my head to see Sam. His eyes are downcast, and he bobs his head in a way that tells Sarah and me that he'd rather not be approaching, but he has to. Sam, Sarah asks. Hey, Sarah, he whispers. Sarah wraps her arms around him. It's really good to see you, he says into her hair. But Sarah, I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. And I know you guys haven't seen each other in a long time, but John and I need to go. We're in a lot of danger. You have no idea. I sort of do. She pulls off of him, and just as I prepare to start reassuring her how much I love her, just as I'm about to start to say goodbye, chaos erupts. Everything happens so fast, I'm unable to take it in completely. The scene randomly skipping like a movie reel gone mad. Sam is tackled from behind by a man in a gas mask. The blue jacket he wears has the letters FBI on the back. Someone wraps their arms around Sarah and whisks her away from me. A metallic shield skids across the grass and lands at my feet, and in the white smoke billowing from both ends burns my eyes and throat. I can't see. I hear Sam gag. I stumble away from the canister, and I fall on my knees next to the plastic slide. When I lift my head, I see a dozen officers surrounding me with guns drawn. The masked officer who tackled Sam has his knee on Sam's back. A voice through a megaphone blasts. Don't move! Put your hands on top of your head and get on your stomach. You're under arrest. As I place my hands on the top of my head, cars have been parked on the street, and the entire time we were there suddenly comes to life. Their headlights turn on, red lights flash from the dashboards. Cop cars screech around the corner, and an armored vehicle with SWAT written on its side jumps the curb and slams on its brakes in the middle of the basketball court. Men yell and pile out of it at an alarming rate, and that's when someone kicks me in my stomach. Handcuffs are clicked around my wrists. Above me, I hear the whip of a helicopter. My mind grabs hold of the explanation it can come up with. Sarah, the text messages. That wasn't Emily. The police were talking to her. What little of my heart that didn't break when Sarah backed away from me now shatters. I shake my head with my face against the concrete. I feel someone remove my dagger. Hands take the tablet from my waistband, and I watch as Sam is pulled off the ground by his arms. Our eyes meet for a brief second, and I can tell what he's thinking. Cuffs are slapped around my ankles, and a chain connects the cuffs to my wrists. I'm jerked up from the ground. The cuffs are too tight to dig into my wrists. A black hood is pulled over my head and secured around my throat. I can't see a thing. Two officers grab my elbows while another shoves me forward. You have the right to remain silent, one of them begins as I'm led away, and I'm thrown into the back of a vehicle. Damn, son. Rocking and rolling, peeps. Almost to page 300. 75% away the way through the book. Outstanding. Well, again, I hope everybody's doing good. I hope your summer is summerly. I know that like people would be like going to Great Escape and Lake George and all that kind of stuff, but excuse me. I just don't kind of know if those types of things are going to happen. I did hear that I guess you can go to Great Escape with a reservation. So I don't, party of 3 at the Steamin' Demon. Martin, party of 9. You can go on the log slide now. What is that thing called? Where you're in the little log boat thing, right? Anyway, we'll see what the summer brings. My dad and I were talking about maybe going and trying to rent a cabin, like somewhere up in the Adirondacks, in late August. Oh, excuse me, but I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if something like that can really happen. I hope, I guess, but I'm a little afeared that if I did make a reservation, we wouldn't get. I don't know. You don't get the money back. Okay, no big deal. But anyways, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, going to get some nice little. Boys and I are talking about doing a couple backpacking trips this summer, long weekends. So hopefully we'll be able to knock that out at some point and make the most of it. I have a feeling maybe like Columbus Day fall weekend, Discovery Day weekend. We might. I don't know if you guys heard about that. Where was it in Rhode Island? People want a statue of Christopher Columbus pulled down. It's this, and I'm not saying the movement is wrong. It's not wrong at all. Where Princeton University is removing Woodrow Wilson's name off of one of the buildings there. So apparently he was quite the racist. Statues of Christopher Columbus, and again, I think it's the right thing to do at this time, So, and again, I don't have a problem with it, but it's just kind of weird how all of this is coming together at the same time. It really is. You would think that. Obviously it's clear to people, hey, people are pissed, right? I mean, this is obvious. People wouldn't be risking their lives getting this sick if or risking their life possibly getting sick if what they were fighting for wasn't such an awesome thing. So, anyway, this day in history. Let's do this day in history. All right, so it's on this day, and I totally forgot about this. I knew it was in June, but on this day, it's when the Black Hand, right, in Sarajevo assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand. And that is the event which will ignite World War One. World War One was gonna start, right? Without a doubt, it was gonna start. But this is the thing that, finally the straw that breaks the camel's back, they say. On this day in 1965, in Vietnam, the American Army launches, and I think it was the 173rd Airborne, launches their first offensive. So meaning up until that point, the Army was there as advisors and more protection and trainers. Now we are going out and we are actively trying to kill the enemy. On this day in 1969, this is an interesting one. The Stonewall riots happened in, I believe it's in Greenwich Village in New York City. This is the first time that people really stand up and fight for LGBTQ rights. And I know that there's something that's been added to that now, and I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. But it's the first time that people really stand up and fight for people, gay, lesbian, and transgender people. On this day in 1972, tying back to the Vietnam War, the Vietnam War does not end, but President Nixon says that he is going to end the drafting of soldiers to be used in Vietnam. Here's a very odd this day in history. I don't know if you guys know the fighter. Stella's swatting at me here. The fighter Mike Tyson. He was really kind of on top of the world, the fighting world, for I'd say a good 10 years. There were fights that he fought that literally ended like in a minute. He just pummeled people. But on this day in 1997. He's in there fighting, he's in there with Evander Holyfield. And I think it's a draw of a fight. And Mike Tyson bites off a chunk of his ear. And then it's on this day in 2007 that the bald eagle is taken off the threatened species list, right? So for a very long time, bald eagles were like trophy animals, and they were hunted almost to extinction. And now, it's kind of awesome because people see them all over the country. I think they see them more on the East Coast than out West, but I could be wrong at that. But I know, like in where I live, pretty much the whole time I've lived here, we've seen them. And they've become more and more prevalent around here. One of the places where the boys and I go kayaking, there's a huge bald eagle's nest, and you see them flying. We went hiking in the the Catskills. Oh, geez, it must have been about a month ago now. And we saw two beautiful bald eagles, and they had made a nest out in the middle of this lake, like on this little outcropping, which was really, really cool. And last year, a guy caught a picture of a mama bald eagle with like 5 or 6 little hatchlings, and they were right down on the creek, and they were like, I don't know, fishing or getting water or whatever. But they're in this area, which is really cool. So. But all right, my friends, well, that's all I have for you tonight, this lovely Sunday night. It's a busy week coming up for me, getting into summer mode, doing a little bit of work. I got to go over to my buddy's house and help put in some windows. And 4th of July, right? Or 4th of July is Saturday. Saturday. So we got a busy week coming up, a lot to do. I will be back, and I will see you on Tuesday night. Yep, Tuesday night. And we'll continue reading, I don't know. It probably won't be Sunday. It'll probably be next Tuesday. I think we'll finish this book. And, we'll see where it goes from there. I'll hunt around and see if I can find a good book. Maybe we'll read book 3. I don't know, but we'll keep it going. We'll keep it going. So keep running the marathon, my friends. Get into your summer groove. Reach out, say hi. You know how to email me and tell me maybe you might have a book suggestion. I'm not going to read Twilight. I know that. But maybe, I don't, what I was thinking about was like even Harry Potter book. I don't know, whatever. Give me an idea. So, but anyway, my friends, be good. Keep running that marathon. We'll get back to some kind of normal soon. Until then, I'll see you Tuesday night. Be good.